We're on Menachos, I believe.
I'm also happy when I'm in California. I love California. Menachos, you said, right?
Menachos. So we had an interesting machlekes in the Mishnah on Samach Zayin and Bais. The Eimer allowed the new grain to be eaten. Mishnah says that after they brought the Eimer, they would go into the marketplace. Everything, all the grain, there was toasted grain already there. What does that mean? That they already harvested and they roasted and they did all of that. How did they do it before the Eimer? So Rabbi Meir says that was Shlei Bratz and Chachamim. And Rabbi Yehuda said no, the Chachamim were fine with it. The Gemara asked, according to Rabbi Yehuda, we find in the Gemara Pesachim that he's concerned with doing B'dikas Chametz on Yom Tov. If someone forgot to do B'dikas Chametz before Pesach, we're tired, all the cleaning, they fell asleep the night of B'dikas Chametz. They didn't do it the next day in the morning, and it's already the Chametz is aser. Rabbi says you can't do a B'dikas Chametz now. You may end up eating it. Chum say that they're allowed to, but Rabbi says we're afraid that you're going to eat it. So, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that we're afraid that you're going to eat something. Why are you allowed to cut the grain and roast it before the Yomer? We should be afraid that you're going to eat it. So, we gave an answer. Rabbi gave an answer that Chodesh is different. They didn't allow you to harvest it properly. They allowed you to harvest it by hand. It wasn't the real thing. Bais says that's only the harvesting. But what about if they were grinding it and sifting it? What about that? So he says no, they also ground it by hand and they sifted it by hand. He says what about Bais HaShlachim, which says that you're allowed to cut it even with a regular seeth. So Rabbi gives it a better answer. Rabbi says that when it comes to Chadash, Rabbi Yehuda is not concerned because Chadash, everyone is waiting for it to be permissible. The whole year it's aser. They're waiting. They're not going to go eat it now. Chametz, the whole year you're eating it. You only have a few days that it's aser. So, lo badal minay. So, Rabbi Yehuda is concerned by B'dikas Chametz if it's B'shas Yisr that they're going to eat it because you're going to forget that it's aser. The Chadash, you're not going to forget that it's aser. Chadash is always aser until the time that it's mutter. Okay. Amar Rava. We're going to start Amar Rava. We're Menachos, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines down. Good morning.
On a grocery trip.
You brought everything from New York or from Miami? Okay, Amar Rava. The Rabbi Yehuda Kasha says, he asked the question from Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah said that the Eimer is that the grains that were in the marketplace already when the Eimer was brought was beratzin Chachamim, that it was allowed to be there. However, on Pesach, we said that you're not allowed to do B'dikas Chametz. Let me see what I can get. There's one chair there.
Okay, I'll get it.
Here.
Don't worry.
No. This is a good chair. That right over here. That's Rabbi Yehuda on Pesach. When it comes to the B'dikas Chametz, Rabbi Yehuda says, don't do it on Pesach because you may end up eating. Excellent.
You mean Erev Pesach?
On Erev Pesach in the afternoon or on Pesach. He says if you forgot to do it, you may end up eating it. When it comes to the Eimer, we're not concerned that you can eat it. He says, what about the Chachamim? Okay, now this is very interesting because the Chachamim, when it came to Pesach, they said that you're allowed to, if someone forgot to do B'dikas Chametz, you're allowed to do B'dikas Chametz the whole Pesach. Why do we do B'dikas Chametz? because we're afraid that there are two possibilities. Maybe you weren't mevatel it properly. Maybe you didn't say, I really, when you said that it should be kafadar, maybe you didn't really mean it. Or maybe that you are going to find a nice piece of cake and you're going to eat it. Very good. Very good. No, he's quoting to me the expression in the Gemara. So we're afraid that if you're going to do b'dikas chametz, while you're doing b'dikas chametz, you may end up finding that kluski yafa, and then you're going to eat it. So don't do any b'dika then. We'll rely on the bittul, or that you were mevatel. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. The Chachamim, on the other hand, they said that you're allowed to do the b'dika in middle of Yom Tov. They're not concerned that you're going to eat it. Okay, Chachamim aren't concerned that you're going to eat the chametz in middle that you're going to find in middle of Yom Tov. What do they say about the Omer? Before the Omer is brought, Rabbi Meir said, "Shalei baratzin Chachamim." Now we're associating Rabbi Meir in our Mishnah with the Chachamim, which is very interesting. I was trying to check if maybe there's another girsa that doesn't have Rabbi Meir, different Rabbi Meir. Maybe it would just be plain. But the Gemara here is associating Rabbi Meir with the Chachamim. So Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim have the same opinion in our Mishnah, that they should not be harvesting the Omer at a time that they can't eat it, because the Chachamim are concerned that they may end up eating it before the time when they harvest it. So comes along Rava, says, okay, you asked the question on Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yehuda, the Rabbanan like Kashi, you have the same question on the Rabbanan. It's exactly the opposite. When it came to Pesach, they allowed you to do the search in the middle of Pesach, that you're not going to eat it. When it comes to the Omer, they don't allow you to cut it before the Omer is brought because you may end up eating it. So why do we have that contradiction there? El Amar Rava.
I'll get the chair. I'll get it. No.
We're like borderline here.
It's almost a to do it downstairs.
No, well, we should do it with the tables long, or we should add a third table. That will give us 2 more seats. You want to do it in the shul downstairs?
No,
I don't know. It's a big deal.
No, downstairs there's a lot of space.
Oh, it's fine.
Come.
I'm saying if we do grow.
Come, make room, make room.
It's not if, it's when.
You won't get married for 7 years.
Downstairs.
Oh, yeah?
You sit in the corner. You don't want to anyway. Okay. So, Rabbi says to Rabbi Yehuda, Ad Rabbi Yehuda like kasha kiddushanina. We already answered Rabbi Yehuda on Rabbi Yehuda, the contradiction. What was the answer? We said that chadash people may eat. Chadash people are not going to eat. The new grain people are not going to eat. It was always usher. But chametz people may eat it because the whole year they're leibadl minay. People are always snacking the whole year. They're not going to realize. And if they're going to do the search in the middle of Pesach, they're not going to remember this as chametz. They may end up tasting it. However, the Rabbanan like kasha, there's no contradiction in the rabbis. It's going to be difficult because it's exactly the opposite. The rabbis say that on Pesach, you're allowed to do the b'dika if you forgot to do it. So, we're busy. Excellent. So, but when it comes to the chadash, we're not concerned that they're going to toast it and that they're going to eat from it when they're toasting it before the Omer. I'm sorry, we are concerned that they're going to be eating it from it, chadash. When it comes to Pesach, we're not concerned. So why do we have that distinction? So it says like this: Hu atzmai machzor alav l'sarfai mechalachal minei. The teretz says like this: by the chadash, we're afraid that you're going to eat it because you're doing a regular cooking. You're doing a regular. Everything you're doing is totally normal. You may end up eating it. When it comes to chametz, what is the b'dika? Are you in the kitchen cooking and adding ingredients and all of that? That's not b'dikas chametz. B'dikas chametz is you're standing there with the candle, and you want to destroy the chametz. You're not burning it right then, but you're putting it into this bag that you're going to burn. You're looking for chametz to destroy. You're not going to eat it when you're looking to. That's the expression. he himself is searching for it to destroy it, you're afraid he's going to eat it. So that's why the Chachamim on Pesach say that you're allowed to do the B'dika even on Pesach, you're not going to eat from it, because you're trying to destroy it. By the Chadash, you're trying to toast it, to eat it. You can't eat it right then, but we're afraid that you may end up tasting it before. That's why it's Shalei Brat and Chachamim.
The poil, how would they say that you would do it? On Pesach, where are you getting the hummus from?
No. The problem is, for whatever reason, they forgot to do the B'dikas Chametz. And it's already Pesach. There's many examples for it. They were traveling and this and that. They didn't do B'dikas Chametz. And it became Pesach, or it became after Chatzos. Should they still search? Chachamim say yes. Rabbi Yehuda says no, don't look at all. So we're saying over here, why did the Chacham say you could look? You may end up eating it. He said no. The search is you're intending to destroy. You're not going to eat it. Your whole intention is to destroy it. Rabbi Yehuda is concerned that no, chametz, because the whole year you eat chametz, you're not going to recognize that it's a big problem, and you may end up tasting it. Okay. Ravashi Amar, Rabbi Yehuda ad Rabbi Yehuda leikash. Ravashi says different. Rashi says, Kemach kali tanan. Okay. There's different interpretations for this. If it's Kemach kali or Kemach v'kali, there's two texts, two different texts. So, whatever the case is, however we're going to do this text, Kemach kali, what it means is that it's not edible. Because it's a type of toasted flour, or it's flour and it's toasted, whatever the text is meant to say, but it's not edible. So that's why Rabbi Yehuda says that the sages allow it. They allow to have the grain ready before the omer is brought.
Could you take flour and put it in your
right?
mouth?
That's what it's saying, because you can't eat the flour anyway. You can't eat it. So that's why the sages would allow it.
Need it.
By the chametz, Rabbi Yehuda is saying no, that's already edible food. So the Gemara says v'hadar Ravashi barusihi. This of Ravashi, there's two versions to this, either barusa or badusa. Badusa means that it's like a joke, which means it's not, or it's or barusa means that you have to take it out. It's a mistake. Whatever it is, it's a mistake. The Rebbe's father, when he writes about that the Torah comes from Shemayim, and all the words of the Torah come from Hashem. Hashem told it to Moshe Rabbeinu, and so he says his expression is that even Hadar Ravashi Badusahi or Barusahi is also what Hashem said. Hashem actually said what Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, the answer of Ravashi, and he says, and this stuff of Rashi is not correct. He says both sides. So,
put the Gemara together,
Ravashi, but it must have been that the Rabbanan Savarai where it did the last edit.
Could you imagine that he's putting it on himself?
So. It says Kol HaTorah Kol Shemaisav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all the Torah's names of Hashem. So we don't see all the secrets in the Torah. We just read in what we understand, but it's really there's secrets in each line. So even when the Gemara tells us that the line that we just said is not correct, there's also names of Hashem in that. The Shla brings in an example. There's a Gemara that says there's a machlekes where the first opinion says Pater, and then it says Rabbi Yaakov Chayev. Rabbi Yaakov is obligated. The Gemara asks, Rabbi Yaakov, what did Rabbi Yaakov do? So it says, no, Rabbi Yaakov Omer that he's chayav. Rabbi Yaakov says that he's chayav. So that was a clear thing that the Gemara could have edited out. Just put in the word and it would change it. No, it's Shemaisav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That arrangement is names of Hashem. You don't just edit that out. Okay. Why is the answer of Ravashi a problem? It's not edible. It says, Teinach mikali ve'elach. I understand from when you roast it on, it's not edible. But ad kali mayek lemeimar. What happens is, I didn't know this until someone told me, he always when we buy sweet corn, the corn in the cob, so we cook it first. right? Or you put it on the grill or whatever, but you cook it first. So I saw this guy, he buys it, he just opens it up, he starts eating it like that. So I see, you can eat it raw? He says, yeah, it grows near my house. He lived somewhere near a farm or something. It grows near my house, we just eat it raw. He says, no, actually, from the field you can eat it raw, but once you take it off and it dries in the store for however, you have to cook it. So what happened is they harvested the grain. Immediately it's edible, it's soft. And after then it becomes inedible. So Rav Ashi's answer is that, okay, you roasted it and you turned it into flour, it's not edible. But what about throughout the process? It had stages that it was edible, and you weren't allowed to eat it at those stages because the omer wasn't brought. The new grain needs to wait for the omer. So it's not a good answer, because it could have violated this rule, but when he was preparing it before. Maybe you'll say that he did it in a different way because he harvested it by hand. He didn't use a sickle or a sieve. And therefore he's going to remember not to eat from it. But the problem is, we said that a field that needs to be watered, you are allowed to cut it early, even with the sickle. So it would be a problem. Rather, what Rav Ashi said is incorrect.
In Spanish, bruto means stupid.
Oh, really? Well, in English also a brute, right? Isn't brute like
Stupid.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I said over that I tried to do this. There's a fellow that comes to my house that's he wrote dictionary. He's writing a dictionary. He's a linguist. Anyway, I tried to tell him something that I thought Hebrew. He says I should stick to my day job. But okay, this is a good one. Okay, the Mishnah says, Mishakarav ha'omer. Once the omer is brought, the omer is the barley harvest the barley offering that we are discussing. It's brought on the 16th of Nisan. From then on, hutar chadash miyad. You're allowed to eat the new crops. The environmental people say that it's, you see, you have to finish the old stuff before the new stuff. This is in the Torah. You don't just take the new grain. So, but who would know when it was brought? You would have to be around the temple. So, if you're far from the temple, you'd have to wait for midday. And then there was an assumption that by midday it was brought, and you're allowed to eat the new grain. Mishacharav Bais Hamikdash, when the Bais Hamikdash was destroyed, Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai instituted She'yom Hanef Kula Yaser, that the day of waving, which is the omer was an offering that was waved, like the lulav was waved in different directions. So the day of the waving is the day, the 16th of Nisan. That the entire day is Aser. You're going to see in the Gemara why. Very interesting. But he instituted that the whole day should be Aser. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, V'lai min ha-Torah hu Aser. What are you saying? Rabbi Yochanan was instituted this. It's a biblical, it says in the Torah that it's Aser. It's not a Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Shenemar, it says in the Pasuk, Ad etzem ha-yom hazeh. The Pasuk says that the bread, kali and carmel should not be eaten until this very day, until the carbon is brought. But ad etzem ha-yom hazeh, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara is going to say ad, and it says ad, which means until. It means ad b'chlal. It's including the day. Ad aviyachim means you have to wait the whole day. B'pnei ma harachaykim mutarim mechatzos hayom ulahalan. Why is it permissible from midday? Now, this is not a continuation from Rabbi Yehuda's saying that you need to wait the whole day. This is just asking. Before we said, see, even Rabbi Yehuda would agree that when the omer is brought, that the omer is mater. It's only when you don't have the omer, what do you have? So now we're going back. When the omer is brought, why do you have to wait until midday? Those people that weren't in the temple, harachaykim, because they know that the bezdin won't be lazy about bringing it, and by midday they for sure brought it. not going to push it off till after midday.
That's according to.
It's not. This is the explanation at the beginning of the Mishnah where everyone agreed. Now we're going to have a machlekes, Rav and Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Rav and Shmuel are in Babylonia. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish are in Tveria, in Israel. And let's see how this works. Always the Gemara, many times, it introduces, the Gemara introduces the first generation of Amiraim right away, and then it follows on. There's sort of like layers of how it works. Pretty chronological one. Revadim, they call it, right? Revadim, I think. But there's layers of. Okay, Rav and Shmuel Damri Tavayo. Rav and Shmuel both say that Bisman Shebeis Hamikdash Kayam, while the Beis Hamikdash was standing, when the temple was standing, Omer Mater, the sacrifice would allow the new grain to be eaten. So everyone's waiting to eat the new grain. The example someone gave yesterday was the pizza after Pesach.
That's great.
They tell you to wait an hour or something, and then you can start eating.
Depends. If you're 14th Avenue in Borough Park, you have to wait 3 hours to go to that Amnons.
Yeah. So we're talking about bringing the Aimer on. It's on Pesach, so it can't be chametz. It's on Pesach the second day, and then all of a sudden it's brought. Everyone can start eating. Bisman she'edin Beis Hamikdash Kayim, when you don't have a temple, so we're not bringing the sacrifice. So Heyer Mizrach Mater, when the sun rises, when it becomes light in the east, when the day begins, you don't have to wait for the sacrifice. Just when the day starts, it's already mutter. There's no sacrifice to be brought. My timer. What's the reason for Rabbi and Shmuel? Trei kroi ksivig. It says twice. It says two psukim. A kroi is a pasuk. Ksiv, it's written ad haviyachem, until you bring. Uksiv ad etzem hayom hazeh, until this very day. Haketzad, is it until you bring, or is it until this day? Kam bezbeis Hamikdash Kayim. This is when the temple is standing. That's until you bring. Until you bring the offering, you have to wait a few hours into the day until it's brought. Kam bezman she'ein Beis Hamikdash Kayim, when the temple is not around, so then right away in the morning it's permissible. So that's how they interpret the verse.
The Torah wrote a pasuk to teach us a law when the Beis Hamikdash is not paying.
Well, I have to tell you. I have to tell you something.
Never heard of that.
So
if not, you wouldn't be able to eat the Chadash at all.
No.
You would never, because you don't have the korban, so then we could never eat meat.
That's the Torah wrote a
What's your
pasuk.
question?
Let me tell you
wrote a
something.
pasuk for the time that the
Reb
Beis
Tzaddik-
Hamikdash ain't
Reb
paying.
Tzaddik HaKayin.
But
We darshan, we have to learn. Well,
Yeah, of course.
you're saying it's
And I have to tell you.
Is this a common thing?
It's,
Have
let me tell you that Reb Tzaddik HaKayin asks, when it says Bahar Sinai, the Rashi says Manyin Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai. What is it saying? Talking Shemitah by Har Sinai. So he says, what's the question? So when they were by Har Sinai, they were supposed to go into Eretz Yisrael. They didn't sin. They were supposed to go into Eretz Yisrael. They wouldn't have to work the land. It would be like the time of Mashiach. So he says, Manyin Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai. You're talking about working the land. The 6 years you work it, and the 7th it has to lay fallow. So he says, no. All the details are from Sinai. That means that the Torah includes every possibility, every situation. When the mizbeach is, when you're allowed to bring on a bama, when you're not. If the bezdin sins, if the every possible situation is in the Torah. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, the Amri Tavayo. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, they both say, the brothers-in-law. Afilu bisman shebeis hamikdash kayam heyer mizrach mater. Even when the temple was around, you were already allowed to eat the grain from the morning. You didn't have to bring the omer to eat the grain. However, let's see. It says until you bring it. Until you bring the offering. It says that's the mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to wait and to do that. But you don't violate a negative prohibition when it says you shall not eat it until this day. Until the day. And then it says that you bring it. So we wait until you bring it, but there's no negative prohibition like someone would get malchus or something. You don't have that. It's just a mitzvah to bring it. The Gemara asks several questions, quoting Mishnayos, that should refute Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish's opinion. It says, Mishakarav ha'imar huta chadash, miyad. If you look at our Mishnah, it says when the Omer is brought, the chadash, the new grain, is permissible. According to Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, that's not accurate. Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish are Talmudic sages.
Why don't they
We're
ask from the
quoting.
Mishnah? It says Arachakim Mutar Tzasei.
Right, we're starting from there. We start from the beginning of the Mishnah. Mishakarav ha'imar huta chadash miyad. Why only Mishakarav ha'imar? It's from the morning. So it says that's the mitzvah. We quote another Mishnah. Ha'imar ha'yamatir b'medina, v'shtei alechem b'mikdash. This is the following Mishnah.
Well, is it the day or is it the Omer that's mocked? What is it?
Well, Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish say that even in temple times, it's the day. Now we're asking.
So when it says Ad Chatzos, Arachakim Ad Chatzos is to the mitzvah.
Yeah, that's what they would answer. Yeah, that's because that's waiting for when it would be brought. Why do they have to wait for it to be brought? It's brought in the morning. It says no, the mitzvah.
It doesn't use the word mitzvah. It says
I know.
Mutar.
Right.
Mutar.
Right. Let's see more questions. We say the following Mishnah on the next page says that the Omer is mater the grain for everyone to eat, but the Shtei Alechem is mater the grain to be brought in the temple. That's brought on Shavuos. And that's going to be a discussion shortly. The Gemara says the mitzvah. That's just a mitzvah, but really you don't have to wait for that. It's already mutter in the morning. Now the Gemara has another question. Mishacharav Beis Hamikdash Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan Mitzake Yom Hanef Kula Yasser. Rabbi Yochanan Mitzake instituted that the entire day of the 16th is Asr. It's not mutter in the morning. My timer. What's the reason? Listen to this. Okay, we're going to get the reason here. Why did Rabbi Yochanan Mitzake institute this? Meheri Yibana Beis Hamikdash. Speedily, the Beis Hamikdash will be rebuilt.
Amen.
The Yomru, the people will say, Ishtaked last year. Mila yachalnu b'heya mizrach. Did we not eat it right away in the morning? Hashtanami nechal. We could eat it this year as well. You hear the concern? People are going to be concerned that they're going to remember what they did in Gullus.
When they did it early in the morning.
And in the Gullus, before the temple, we ate it right away in the morning because we had no temple to offer the sacrifice. But now that the Beis Hamikdash is back, we need to bring the sacrifice to eat the grain.
Wow.
V'layadi, they don't know. They're staked like havi omer. Last year we didn't have the omer sacrifice, so therefore heyer mizrach mater.
Wow.
When it became light, it was already permissible. But v'hashta dika omer mater. Now that we have the omer, we have to wait for the omer.
So
what's the problem?
So
It's a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. The Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish say even with the Beis Hamikdash you don't have to wait for the omer. Or v'isal k'daitach lemitzvah, and if you only have to wait for the omer because it's a mitzvah, mishum mitzvah leikim v'ligzer, because of a mitzvah, he's going to make a gzeira the following that people are going to think what they did last year. There's not even a negative prohibition here that they have to make a gzeira. Okay, this is one way of understanding what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says. We're going to see that it's not so clear. There's different understandings of what Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai b'shitas Rabbi Yehuda Amra. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is following the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Now, Rabbi Yehuda is several generations later than Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, but it means that this opinion that we understood from earlier, the Amar that he says. Minatayra aser, that it's really forbidden the whole day. Minatayra, shenemar ad etzem hayom hazeh, and ad itzumi shel yom ukasavar ad v'ad b'chlal. He holds when it says ad etzem hayom hazeh until this day. What does ad mean? Until
the end.
Until means until the beginning or until the end. So Rabbi Yehuda holds ad v'ad b'chlal until the end. Ad is including. It's aser including this day. Right? We have words like that in English also that don't know what it means exactly. We say bi-weekly or something, and no one knows if it means twice a week or every 2 weeks.
Right.
It
That
doesn't.
would be, yeah.
We have words that.
Yeah.
So the word ad does. We don't know if it means until before or until including. So we're saying over here that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai holds like Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda holds that the whole day is aser because the Torah says it's aser. So it's not because of an institution. It's aser, naturally it's aser. But the other opinion that holds that it's permissible, holds that it's permissible from the morning. So we have no question from Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He argues on this opinion. The Gemara.
Why do you have to say Gzerfar?
So look at this. Umi Savala Kavasei. That's Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai hold like Rabbi Yehuda. But Miflik Polygal, it's a clear machlaikas. He doesn't hold like Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanan, it was taught in our Mishnah, Mishachar of Bais Hamikdash, when the Bais Hamikdash was destroyed. Hiskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Sheyemanei Kulei Yasser. It was an institution. And Amar Rabbi Yehuda responds to him. He says, why are you saying it's an institution? He tells him that it's he can't agree with him if they're arguing. So the Gemara explains this. Watch this. Really, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai holds like Rabbi Yehuda. So why is Rabbi Yehuda responding to him in a way that it's totally opposite of his opinion? Rabbi Yehuda Katai. Rabbi Yehuda is making a mistake. Who savar? He thinks Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai midrabanan kamar, that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai meant that it was rabbinic. V'lohi, come over here. Come over here. There's I'll give you my seat. But it's not so. Midairaisa kama. Really, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai meant that it was biblical. But Hiskin Kitani, he says that it was an institution.
No.
My Hiskin, what does it mean he instituted? Darash v'Hiskin. He expounded on the pasuk, and he explained the pasuk. But it wasn't that it was a real institution. It's an interesting expression. Darash v'Hiskin. Okay. Watch this Gemara. This is a very interesting Gemara. Rav Papa v'Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. Rav Papa and Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua. This is like 5th, 6th generation Amiram. This towards the end of the Talmudic period. They achli chadash beurta the shitzar nagi shivsar. They would eat the new grain the evening after the 17th, after the 16th. That means they waited the whole day, and they waited till that night. The whole 16th they did not eat it. After